Hi, this is Tonya M. Barber, the author of Changing the Game series, and I Can Love You Past Your Pain. I am on jerry-royce-live.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, Jerry Royce, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to Jerry Royce Live on Positive Power 21.org. I am the voice of Jerry Royce, and when it's all positive, it's all power. That's Positive Power 21. And today's sponsors are the Resume Guy at www.career-image.com. Contact the Resume Guy, and he will help get your resume up to speed so you can get yourself an interview, so the interview can get you the job. And also Fast Tech Solutions for your internet needs. They rebuild and install computer network infrastructures and perform computer repairs in the Delmarva. So if you're outside of Delmarva, you may have to marry your computers. Also, we want to say hi to REI Heritage Tours, Cambridge, Maryland, home of Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. They're preparing for a big conference this weekend, June 13th through 14th, sorry about that, to celebrate 150 years after her death. They have a keynote speaker from Emmanuel College of Boston, Massachusetts. So come on out and join them. And if you want to give them a call to set up a scenic tour, driving tour, the number is 1-800-522-TOUR, 1-800-522-TOUR. And you can call them about the conference as well. Also, there's another conference coming up with Success Revolution Conference 2014 Business Expo given by Agnes Akatun. And that's going to be a fantastic business expo. So come out and join us on June 14th. And Positive Power 21 Jerry Royce Live will be there in the house doing interviews right on the premises. Tickets are only $5, and it's in Columbia, Maryland. So come out and say hi and ask for Jerry Royce Live, okay? And we want to say hi to a few of the authors been on our show, E. Joyce Moore. We want to say hi to artist Charlotte Riley and Curtis Black. He just released a book on June 1st. Congratulations to him. We want to say hi to Lavette Saunier and Gerald Green and our good friend Sonovia Alexandra. Also, we want to say hi to Fire and also LaQuette. All right. And she's from the Maryland area. So we definitely got to say shout out to our homegirl, LaQuette. And she has a book called My Beginnings, and that's sold on Amazon.com. All right. And today we got a guest, and you know we always bring you the goodies. We have Tonya M. Barber, also known as Lady T when she was a poet. Currently resides in Newark, New Jersey with her 3 children. She has been writing poetry since the age of 12. A number of her poems have been appeared in anthologies in the United Kingdom. And she also published a limited edition poetry address book and poetry diary. Her recent works include A Journey Through the Window of My Soul, The Journey Continues, Drama in the Bricks, The Other Side of Me, Changing the Game 1, 2, and 3, Misty Blues, and most recently, I Can Love You Past Your Pain. So welcome to the show, Tonya Barber. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And we're glad you can join us from the great state of New Jersey. You know, our favorite artists come from that area, and we want to, rest in peace, Whitney Houston. But thank you for joining us tonight. And you're here to promote your new book, I Can Love You Past Your Pain. So how's it going so far with the new book?
So far, so good. So far,
right.
so good. The reviews are okay. It's a great story. Great story.
Great story. All right. Well, let's come on out the gates and let's talk about you first before we get in the book. Tell us a little bit about. I know you told me earlier in the show you're a poet, but tell us a little bit more about how you got started with your writing and how you decided to move from poetry to novels. Okay.
Okay. Well, I started writing poetry as a young girl. me, my brother, and my sister, we had a rough childhood, so it was a way to escape, and it was a source of healing for me. As the years went on by, I lost my father, and then, stopped the writing for a while. A few years after that, I picked up again, and it was my sister. One day, I started sending her some of the things that I was writing, and she's a tough critic. I mean, really tough. After reading a few of them, she was like, well, just send me all you got. I was like, you know how many poems I have? That's all right. Just send it to me. So I'm at work, sending them to her at work. And by the time I get home in front of my house, she's parked outside the door with all the poems in her hand and suggested that I do something with them. So I'm looking at her like, okay, what am I supposed to do with them? Usually I just, write them and put them in between the mattress or whatever. But I took up on her offer, started researching publishing companies, and went with Outskirts Press. And that's how I got my first poetry book out.
All right. Wow, good. So the sister pushed you in a positive direction in the writing world. Yeah. All right. And what happened after that?
After that was received well. Most of it was sold by me, not online, but my aunt. I have an aunt who supports everything that I do. I had about maybe 75 books sitting in the house, just sitting there, and I kept telling her I was going to have a get-together, I was going to do this, and I was going to do that. So one day she came back to the house, and the same books were sitting there. She said, girl, give me those books. She was working in Newark Airport. She went through those books. I mean, they just, one behind the other. She just kept coming back. And then I had people asking what was next, and I was looking at her like, okay, I just put that out. I can't do anything else. If you want another poetry book, I can work on that. I didn't intend for it to, take me where it was taking me. It was just something, basically to see if I can do it. Once my sister said that, I thought that was going to be it. So once I did the second poetry book, I wanted to push myself a little further to see if I can do anything other than that. So in back of And the Journey Continues, I put in 2 chapters of Drama in the Bricks, which was my first novel, and it was well received. Although it took me like 6 years to finish it, because I would pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down, and eventually it did get finished.
Wow. So you said Drama in the Bricks, the ghetto story?
Yeah.
Is that the one? Okay. And you released that. When did you release that book? Because Amazon showing 2012.
No. You know why? That's when I got it on let me see, ebook.
Okay. All right. That's when you published as an ebook.
Yeah.
That book was well received. You got 24 reviews, and all of them look like 4.5 stars. So that's not bad at all. And it's so far
for a Drama in the Brick.
Yeah, and it's showing you have a paperback book. There's only one left in stock, so they better hurry up and get it if they want a paperback. Wow.
Yeah, I did Drama in the Bricks also with Outskirts Press.
Now, so who you're published with now? The book you just released, I Can Love You Past Your Pain.
Yeah, I did that myself on Create Space.
Create Space.
I went to the self-publishing route. Okay.
Now, do you have a co-author? Because I see Brooke Martin. Is he your editor or?
No, the editor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Martin, good to see you give credit to the editor, because that's so important nowadays. People are looking for authors. They're looking for good writing, good stories. That's one of the, a lot of people releasing, books so fast now, and then you see little tiny mistakes. Something that can irk a reader. But you know what?
Yeah, and that in the beginning, that was a mistake that I was making. So you get excited and you want to see it in print, and you have to learn to take your time so you can do it right. I never know how important editing was until, Drama in the Bricks had pretty few things going on in there too. But it was Misty Blues that said, listen, girl, enough is enough. You're going to have to take your time, and you're going to have to find somebody to edit these books. It's not good for an author to do it themselves. You know,
Right.
you need someone
Right.
besides yourself to go over your work, you know, to catch what you didn't catch the first, the second, and the third time around.
That's right. That's right. Now, you're selling it on ebook for $3.99. Paperback is $12.20. It's not bad. It looks like you just slashed the price a little bit. The books look like it's rocking pretty well. People should be excited about this one. Now, your reviews are out there, and they're looking good. They look pretty strong. So I'm going to go ahead and read a couple of them, okay?
Okay.
No, I'll tell you what. Before we get into your reviews, all right, since we're talking about you, now you mentioned early in your story, you said you had a pretty rough childhood, your brother and your sister. So what was the tough part about growing up? Was it the neighborhood, you know, the family environment, or you guys didn't have no support? What was going on?
The family environment. You know, we were my mother wasn't ready. She had me when she was 15. So my grandmother had to take custody of us. And my grandmother had 17 children of her own.
17?
You know? And, 17 children, all by the same man.
Wow.
9 girls, 8 boys. So it was rough. It was always a house full of people, 4 and 5 people to a bed. It was rough. It was rough. And then you know how children can be. Sometimes you got this group of people, your mother and your father don't care about you, and then you got that group of people, you need to go where you belong. But eventually we got past that. We grew up, and, you know, people matured, and we was able to get along. So it was great. And you know, I can't take nothing from my grandmother because at any time she could have said, no, I have enough. But she took us in. She loved us. She fed us. She clothed us. So it was okay.
Wow. Ooh, we gotta give kudos to Grandma. Grandma doing it up.
Yeah.
Wow, 17
Absolutely.
kids alone. And then she took in 3 more. So that was like 20 kids. Now I'm sure that, you know, having 17 kids, the ages were pretty spread out. So the teenagers were able to help out with some of the young kids. Yeah. Because I've seen some of those shows, and you thinking 17 kids, you're almost kind of thinking they're all little kids, but they
no.
older. Yeah, right. Because every year she was spitting the kid out, so eventually one guy be 17 and one is 1, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
Absolutely.
Right.
So now I'm looking at about we got over 100 cousins and first and second cousins.
I bet.
So when they said be fruitful and multiply, she did it.
And you don't hear about that much anymore. You know, people, barely doing 2 and 3. Once they get to 3, that's pretty much it. You know, wow, that's a big family. So do you guys do family reunions and things like that?
Yeah, matter of fact, we have one coming up in July, I think. I won't be going to this one, though. But we had one maybe 5 years ago. I went to that one down in North Carolina. And it was great. It was great. Learned a lot of family history. It was a great thing going on.
Yeah, I bet. Now, all the history started with her. Pretty much. Yeah. So did you guys grow up in Newark, New Jersey, or down south?
No, we grew up in Newark, New Jersey. My grandmother is from down south.
Okay.
But we grew up here.
Okay, so a lot of her upbringing was in the south then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, a lot of people do move to the north for better opportunities. You know, we got all those big factories, and you know, of course, you know, when you have big factories, you have a lot of homes and businesses, so people come here for work. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's good. Sound like you turned out to be a good person, so it was nothing, you know, went bad, right?
Nah, you know, you gotta take that stuff and turn it around to something positive.
That's right.
That's
right. Make you strong.
Another thing, absolutely. You have to.
How about your brother and sister? Your brother and sister still around?
Yeah, my sister lives not too far from me. Doing great. She's doing great. As a matter of fact, my niece has 3 books out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she came to me one day. She was doing a school project, and she had to do a paper, and she wanted my help. And then once I read it, I said, girl, turn your paper in, and when you get your paper back, keep writing and see how far you go with it. She said, Auntie, I'm scared. Don't be scared. Just see where you're going. Boy, she took it and ran with it. She don't need auntie help no more. Yeah.
Wow. How old is she?
Jasmine will be 21 on the 29th of this month.
Good. And you said she has 3 books out already to her name.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. And how about your brother?
My brother, he moved down to North Carolina.
Well, he went back
he's married,
home.
moved down to Yeah. Well, he's from up here, but his wife is from North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah,
good.
so he moved down here with his family.
All right, good. I'm sure they are supporting you wherever they can.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good to hear the good news. All right, that's positive power. All right. And we're going to read a couple of your reviews, see how your fans feel about you. Now, you have one on here called Hopeless Romantic. She gave you 5 stars. Ooh, she must have been excited about this book. All right. This was a good love story. The message I took from the story is that you can't live your life stuck in the past. If you continue to focus on past relationships and the one person that broke your heart, you will lose sight of the person who was to send you mended broken pieces. I guess I read that right. It just goes to show you that everything happens for a reason. Anyway, overall, the book, it was a good book. All right. And she had a lot more to write. Okay. Then you have refreshing. It makes you really believe that true love exists and you never know where it's lurking. You vibe to kiss many frogs to get a prince. And then you have a good story. It's about a Hallahan girl. Brick girl. I think she's from New York. First, I want to say that the story itself was very good. Elijah was such a fantastic character. He was a tough guy with an extremely loving side. Jordan was beautiful, sweet, intelligent woman, maybe not the best of picking men, but a good person all around. Eli was willing to wait out his issues until he realized not all men are idiots. It took her a while, and she went through some horrible things, but in the end, she followed her heart and his advice, opening a completely new door to a love that's neither expected. That being said, the issues for me was with the writing itself. I don't like books that said Jordan or said Elijah. Oh, what was about that? Or she didn't like that. So that's her own preference. Okay.
Yeah.
After every sentence. I also think there was a lot of unnecessary descriptions of things. Okay, so I guess she was describing everything in the book. Like she said, gets in the tub or the shower. Okay. All right. So I guess that was only her little pet peeves then. So how you feel about that when a reader, one of your fans say something, do you correct that or you say, oh, that's just your style?
No, I try to correct it. I try to correct it just a little bit so I can stay true to me, but also give them, take in whatever it is they're saying to me as constructive criticism. For instance, there was a lot of dialogue, I think, in Misty Blues, and people didn't like that either. So I had to learn to get away from that a little bit, be more descriptive and away from, the he said, she said thing. I still got a ways to go, but I intend to get better with each book I put out there.
That's right. And she gave you 3 stars. Another reader gave you 3 stars. She said, I must admit in the beginning, once she found out that she was pregnant, she seemed more bothered with the fact that the dude did not want the baby. I like she convinced herself that wanted to keep it and have it. Okay, so she liked that. So she liked some of the decisions were being made. And then another one said, true love. Love it. I'm a huge Tonya Barber fan, and this made me love her even more. If you love romance books, you'll love her books. I'm not going to give anything away. Just take my word, buy this book. Okay, so this is a big fan right here. She gave you 5 stars. All right. Now, so you're writing about love. Okay, right. I can love you past your pain. All right, tell us a little bit about the main character.
The main character is Jordan Avery. Jordan, she was dealing with a guy named Stephen who she felt was the love of her life until she found out, she was pregnant. And then she seen a different side of him that she didn't know existed. She went through a few changes with him. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for what she was ready for, and he gave her an ultimatum: either, she have the baby, and lose what they had, or give it up and they can continue to see each other. She decided to stand her ground and have her child. But later on in the story, a tragedy happens, and she feels as though she's not going to, put herself in a predicament to open up her heart to anyone else ever again. And that is until a man, Elijah, shows up and show her a different side, what good men really do and how they stand by you.
So she did have the baby, you said? You're not going to say. But the first guy did fly the coop. So the first guy flew the coop, right?
Yeah.
So the first, okay, and then the new guy, the real man, shows up to save the day.
Right.
Okay, so this is her new love interest right here.
Yeah.
So now the first guy, was that somebody she fell in love with early while she was young? How old is she?
You know what? I didn't specifically put an age in there, I don't think. I just left it up to the reader to determine,
okay,
the age of Jordan.
Okay, so you didn't get into Jordan, just got out of college or something like that, and she's working. So basically,
Jordan was at the time she was doing an externship.
Mm-hmm.
She was doing an externship. She was working at Joe's Crab Shack downtown Newark. All of my books are based here. They say write about what you know.
That's right.
So she was doing an externship and then received a job at one of the big businesses here on part of their legal team.
Mhm. So she was kind of young. It sounds like she's in her early 20s. So she she got a bachelor's degree. And then she got an internship, and then she started working for this business. Okay, so she's pretty young. Sounds like she's in her early 20s. Okay, and then she meets. So all the other stuff happened while she was in college, or when she was working on her internship.
While she was working for this new company.
Oh, okay. So then after that guy left, then she met the new cat. The new cat shows up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's all about love. All about. Now, does she have any girlfriends in the story, or
She sure did. She has a best friend named Jessie, who convinced her that she can't hold on to the past and keep herself from, giving herself the opportunity to love again. And it took a lot to convince her to even give Elijah a chance. But he stood in there. She didn't make it easy for him. She didn't make it easy for him at all, but he stood in there. And as time went on, it became a point in the story where he realized he needed her just as much as she needed him.
Wow. So what's his background like? Tell us a little bit about him.
Elijah was the building engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And he was working
so he worked in the building where she worked?
Yes. The building was owned by robbers. It was called DNR Electronics. And Elijah's father owned the business. So Elijah held the head engineer position there. So that's how she met him.
Oh, they crossed paths then. Okay.
Yes.
All right. But she wasn't interested in love at the time because her heart was broken because the first love interest walked out on her when she really needed him. The new guy shows up. He liked what he see. Bam. So describe her a little bit. Tell us a little bit more about her.
Jordan?
Yeah.
I think I have it here. Jordan is a dark sister, beautiful dark sister, shoulder-length hair, curvy, very nice, intelligent, smart, but strong and feisty.
All right.
That's her.
That's Jordan. And her girlfriend, her best friend, Jessie. What's Jessie like? What she look like?
What she look like? Jessie, I say she was about 5'6", brown skin, short haircut, thin lips, oval eyes.
All right. So did Jessie have a love interest in the book?
No.
So she was just
but Jordan has a sister. Yeah, her sister name is Raven, and she lived in Atlanta. She came up a few times, especially when the tragedy struck, and she had to come up and be there for Jordan. But she did also found a love interest who was Elijah's best friend, David, and they hit it off very well. As a matter of fact, I get private messages saying that they wish they can get some of Raven and David's story later on.
All right. Now, Gloria, she wrote she gave you 4 stars, and she said this was beautiful. I love the characters and their interaction. I expected more drama, but it held my attention anyway. Elijah's my hero. He is that man. Whatever happened to Stephen? This is definitely recommended. All right. Now, she brings up Stephen. And you said Stephen was the one that liked Jordan's sister. Was that right?
No, Stephen was her first love interest, the one that.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
You did say that. So he's gone. So he's out of the picture completely?
So he's out of the picture completely. He's out of it. But I see it was good she picked up on it, but I thought I closed Stephen's part out. And I see I hadn't, but it's okay. It's okay. I thought I closed Stephen's part out. I thought it was like right there what happened to Stephen, but it's okay. But it's a very good, beautiful love story.
Beautiful. Now, I Can Love You Past Your Pain. Now, how did you choose the title? What's the deal with the title?
Okay. Because I was one of those wounded sisters.
Ooh,
and most of my stories, I take a little bit of truth and build on it. So the beginning of this story about her being pregnant and the guy not wanting to be involved in the baby's life and him not being ready, that's my story.
That's your story.
That's my story. And
so that was your first baby? Nope,
that was my last baby.
Oh, your last baby.
That was my last baby. Yeah. And when the ultimatum came up, I said, guess what? I guess I ain't love you as much as I thought I did, because I'm going to have my baby. Of course, I switched it up in the book. But, that was my story. And it was a lot of pain. It was a lot of pain. It was a lot of pushing people away, not wanting to be close. And one day I was wondering, when you going to give another person a chance to love you through all that. I'm still trying to heal from certain things, but, that's where the title came from. If you can find somebody that can love you through all that, he's a keeper.
That's right. Now you have a book called A Journey Through the Window of My Soul, a collection of poetry. Now, is that all? That's all you, right? That's the one you was talking about?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So your sister encouraged you to write it, and that book is on sale. It's in a paperback, $13.46. Now, people can't get it used. Man, somebody asking for some big money for it used. It must be a good book. They want $16.
No, let me tell you. That's why I decided to go self-publishing later on. That's through Outskirts Press, and once you go through those type of companies, they give you like a minimum of what you can actually sell the book for.
Okay.
So whatever the minimum was at the time, it was like you was only making $2.20, I think, off of that book. So you had to sell it like that to even get the $2.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
so
obviously, people like that book because you got a 5-star out there. Now, tell us a little bit about that book. So you said are you prepared to read something from that book?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, all right, and we'll get back to I Can Love You Past Your Pain. How many pieces are you going to read to us?
From I Can Love You Past Your Pain?
Yeah. No, you're going to read The Journey Through the Window, right?
Okay, yeah, that's good.
How many pieces are you going to read?
How many poems you want me to read?
It's up to you. You can go ahead and read. You got plenty of time. It's only top of the hour. All right?
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
This one is called Be Still. Be still, O heart of mine. Why do you insist on defying what my mind decides? My desire to chill, my need to be free, unattached, unacclaimed, no titles, no name change. Singleness is not a disease, but you would think so by the way you involve yourself emotionally. expressing my vulnerability, only to be struck by deceit, fooled by pretentiousness, reared in on lies. Why? Because you have the inability to lead. When you involve yourself, the mind cannot think rationally. So be still, O hard mind.
That's beautiful. Tell us a little bit about that poem. What was you thinking when you wrote that?
When I wrote that, I was in a relationship, and it was one of those revolving door relationships. And it was like I couldn't help but keep taking them back because I loved them. I loved them. In my mind, I knew it was over. It should have been over. He shouldn't have got second or third or whatever. But because I loved them, I kept taking them back. So that's where that poem came from.
So he would leave, and then he would just come back. He like time elapsed, and he'd just show up again. So he'd miss you, he needs you. And he'd just say, "Okay, you're back," and then it happened again. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. All right, we ready for the next piece?
Okay. This one is one I wrote for my daughter. It's pretty long. I'm gonna shorten it up.
Okay.
This is entitled "And Yet She Lives." Still, very still she lies, with lubricated eyes, purposely paralyzed, IVs in her arm, hands, wrists, thighs. Such a familiar state of being for her short life. Mouth half open, tongue exposed, because that's where the tubes of the respirators go. They told me she wouldn't make it through the night. Said their hands were tied. They did everything they can do. Hearing those words cut like a knife, instantly I cried. What do parents to do when they tell you your child is going to die? She's not breathing on her own. She's not moving air, and because of that, there's a lot of carbon dioxide in there. I never feared for anything that much in my life the way I feared losing her at that time. With tears and desperation, I prayed more that day than any other day. I said, Lord, you said try you. You said that I should try you, put you to the test. Don't send my child to her eternal rest, not yet. You are the taker and giver of life. The doctors can't do it, their hands are tied. Show thy mercy, strike with all power and might. Give us a miracle so I can dry my weeping eyes. You promised, Lord, and your promises are true. I stand on your word, this is where I test you. For hours the family continued to wait. The doctors returned with something else to say. Maybe we can send her to Children's Hospital in PA. If you agree, we'll have to move her now because time is not on our side. We cannot wait. There might be something else they can do. So in the medevac to PA, they flew. Shortly thereafter, I arrived to be right there by my baby's side. I was fearful of closing my eyes. Didn't want to sleep in case I missed her last breath. So restlessly, I watched the faint rise and fall of her chest. It took a few hours, but slowly she began to improve. They said, Mom, her numbers are getting better. She's not out of the woods yet. With every little improvement helps, I said. I said, Lord, yes, your words are true. I am grateful and I praise you. After 1 week, they took her off 2 of the sedatives and the paralyzing drug. I couldn't wait for her to wake up so I can shower her with kisses and hugs. Watching her come out of it was a process, a very slow one, but I didn't mind at all because I knew soon I'd be taking her home. Every moment was like that of a newborn baby learning to use their body parts for the very first time. Like age went on without her.
That says beautiful.
Like age went on without her and left her body behind. Her eyes roamed. She couldn't focus on a thing. But as time went on, she was able to see. It took some time for her to be able to walk, and her speech was slurred as she talked. But she was alive. That very trying time, I cried for her illness. I cried for her suffering. I cried for me, for having to see this happen to my baby, for hearing doctors giving up hope. But this goes to prove that there are some things doctors don't know. They had her for dead. God had another plan instead. This is just another time she proved them wrong when they said I wouldn't be taking her home.
So how's she doing now?
Oh, she gave me 2 grandkids when they said she shouldn't have none. So she's doing fine.
She's doing fine.
Yeah. Those were some hard times.
That's right.
Yeah.
God is good. God is
Mhm.
good. All right. All right. Woo.
Yeah.
What a poem. What a piece.
Yeah.
What a piece.
Yeah.
Journey through the window of my soul. Wow. So a lot of your pieces is a lot about your journey, good or bad?
Yeah. Yep. Good and
All
bad.
right. So you have one more to share?
Yep, I sure do.
Okay, we ready.
Let me see. Here, okay, this is another tearjerker. This is about my dad.
Okay.
Throughout our lives, we prepare for many things, but no one could prepare me for one of the hardships life would bring. The pain of losing someone that means so much. The only man who proved the existence of unconditional love. Memories haunt me of that terrible time in my life when I had to learn nothing's forever, everything dies. You were the strongest man I ever knew. From strength to weakness, God reversed you. I couldn't stand to see you so frail and helpless, but even that time we spent together, I have no regrets. I'd enter with a pretentious smile and an attempt to hide my fear, because I didn't want to face the fact that I could lose you. I couldn't fathom you leaving my world. That would have meant I was no longer Daddy's little girl. That second visit when the acid took your breath and the nurses wouldn't come fast enough because they were scared to death. I never saw fear like that in anyone's eyes as I had saw fear in yours that horrible night. I hated seeing you that way, my loving, strong man. Watching you rapidly slip away was not part of the plan. I witnessed your pain, so I prayed for God, please, take you with him and out of your misery. But then I changed my mind. I didn't want you to leave this world. So if you did, then what would happen to Daddy's little girl? So I put in another prayer, please, God, don't take him away. I'll take care of him myself was a promise I made. Your request to suffocate you still stings my lonely heart. But in a mercy killing, I could not take part. I hope you understood, for I understood your reason, your need to ask. Still today it troubles me, and so much time has passed. I'm sorry I didn't get the opportunity to say goodbye your last day alive. I couldn't take no more. I didn't want you to see me cry. And I was frightened and hurting Daddy's little girl, for it was evident that you was leaving my world.
Wow, that was powerful. So you had a lot of pieces you wrote about your dad?
A few, not too many, because that, because that's emotional.
Yeah, I bet it was. It was.
That's,
A Journey Through the Window of My Soul. Wow, what a publication.
Yeah.
And that's the one your aunt was pushing really hard?
The first one, yeah. A Journey Through the Window of My Soul. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And I had gotten a phone call from someone I used to work with. And I don't think I had spoken to her in about 5 years. And she was on the bus on her way home. And my aunt had gave her my telephone number. And she was crying because of that poem I wrote for my father. And she was saying that's exactly how she felt, about her father. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
crazy.
Wow. Yep. Wow. So this could be the week that you can honor him,
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
Father's Day weekend coming. Yep.
Absolutely.
So this is definitely time for a lot of sisters, that lost their fathers, whether it was the war, the streets, illnesses,
right.
You name it. It's hard times. But,
yeah.
One day we'll meet them again,
We sure will.
That's right.
Sure will.
Right.
That's why, even with my story that I just shared with you in the beginning about being, somewhat Jordan's story, my son's father, he came back. He met him when he was 14. And at first I was, one of those people like, listen, he's been mine all these years. I don't want him to. But it took a male figure that I was close to sit me down and say, you know what? It's not about you. It's not about you. And they may be the best of friends. And he told me his story about his dad, and he didn't know his dad until they met one day at a funeral. And when they spoke, they agreed to keep in touch, and now they're the best of friends. And I'm glad I gave him the opportunity because he's a happier kid now, and they're cool. They're good friends, and he's at the point now where he actually calls him dad. So I'm glad I didn't stand in the way of that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You could have done that,
Yeah.
Messed up that bond.
I could have done that.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of women are like that with the children's father. A lot of guys are in situations where, their mind and their body's not quite together yet. They're not mature enough to handle it. A lot of men don't know how to be fathers. They don't have any fathers in their lives, not even a grandfather or a positive role model in the community even emulate a bit, so they don't know. And I hear a lot of these stories of some of these guys. They said they didn't know no better. Listen to some of these football stars, and some of them the guys don't meet their fathers until they get in the NFL. It's like, well, where was he when you was playing Pop Warner? You got to high school. It's like that's the biggest event in town sometimes is high school football. Where was he? A lot of them guys were so messed up. They just weren't in position. They didn't want their blood to see them like that. They want to.
Right.
I guess they're holding on hope one day to get themselves clean, sober, or whatever. Yeah, because I listen to my mom sometimes. She never met her father, and she had a chance to meet him when he was on his deathbed, and she said no. He just she couldn't believe he waited till he got on his dying bed to call for her. So and I wonder how does that affect her even as an adult now? If you had an opportunity just to see what that person was like, how much of you was in that person.
Yeah.
Answer those kind of questions. And some of us take those kind of things for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even today, sometimes it's rough. It's been it's been like 18 years with my father, and it's still hard.
Yeah, I bet it is.
It's still hard. And then, one time I during the writing process, one day I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, oh my God, I can't believe he left me. And then something just hit me like, Tonya, come on, get over it. He didn't leave you, he died. But that's how I was feeling all along until that day. So it's still hard sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Now, in all the books you have written, which one was your favorite book? Which one you enjoyed the most?
Even though they tore me up about Misty Blues, I love Misty Blues.
Misty Blues. Let's see what they say about Misty Blues. All right. When somebody say this book showed that true love is possible and doesn't have to be with someone who is in your race. So what you wrote, that was an interracial book?
It was an interracial book, yeah.
Okay. They said the author has potential, but she needs a good editor.
Yes.
Okay. And
that was before I found Brooke.
Misty Blues was a great read, and I recommend this book to anyone. So some people really enjoyed it. Now, some people really nitpick about errors. Maybe they're not the greatest, speller or writer themselves, but they just enjoyed the good story.
Yeah. But there are some. I had one up there that said, stick to cooking. And then it had another one that said, I'm even dumber for reading this. I was like, wow. And I was shocked because I was so sure it was such a good read. But you can't please everybody. But it's still my favorite book. I thought it was a really,
So what was she picking on? Was it the storyline or just the errors? What was her
It was
deal?
the errors. It was the errors. And I think one of the reviewers was saying it was like, when she read it, it was like a 12-year-old wrote it. I said, you know what, that's just somebody probably being hateful. I don't mind reviews because everybody is not going to like it. That's fine. And but it's the right way and the wrong way to do everything. You can put in there you don't like it and the reasons why you don't like it, but you don't have to go on attack. And I find that some of them really go on attack against the authors, And at the time when I was trying to research editors, I was getting quotes from like maybe $500 up to $2,500 just for that little book. Misty Blue was only 133 pages. And I was like, wow, I can't afford this, and call myself trying to do it myself. lesson learned. But I didn't find Brooke until after then. But I've been thinking about taking it down and going through it and re-uploading it again because it's a really good story.
Yeah, some of them is probably not a bad idea because it's so easy to do with ebooks.
Yeah.
So Brooke's your man, so why not go ahead and invest some more money since you're still selling them for money? Because a lot of times I'm seeing a lot of authors. What they do, they take some of their first edition books and give them out free just to attract new readers.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they do that to attract new readers. So you may want to have him go back and work on Misty Blues.
Yeah.
And then you can re-release it as a promotional book to help with your your new joints that's coming out.
Right.
That's not a bad idea. Not
a
bad idea.
Yep. It's a really good story. I think I found her when I did the second change in the game. Because the first change in the game also has some what happened with the first change in the game is it was going good for a moment, and then I think someone had wrote Amazon about me not having a table of contents. So when I took the table, so Amazon made me take the book down, and at the time my laptop had crashed, so I didn't have another lesson learned, always have a backup. I didn't have the file that I had uploaded to Amazon, and I remember sending it to my niece because she was helping me do something. So when I asked her, did she have the same file, she was saying yes. So I said, okay, send it to me so I can re-upload it. When I re-uploaded it, I realized it was an unedited file.
Oh.
So people was getting a real bad version, so I had to go on Facebook and find someone who had bought it and asked them, was there an excerpt of Misty Blues in back of that one? And when she told me no, that's when I realized I had uploaded the wrong file.
Oh, I see. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got Brooke in your life. If you ever need any help, let me know. People always, we're meeting editors, everybody, content editors.
Right. Okay.
Proofreaders, because my brother, he actually proofreads. So if you ever need, a proofreader, that's all he does is go through a book, look for mistake. He doesn't read it for the storyline, but just.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah, he's been doing it for years. Cause we had a news magazine back in '93. So that's all he does. So if you ever need some help or your girlfriends out there, let us know. We'll be able to help you guys out.
Oh, okay. I sure will.
All right. Well, look, that's our time, and we really appreciate you being on the show. You're pushing I Can Love You Past Your Pain with help with Brooke Martin. You're on your way to become a successful writer. We can feel it. We enjoyed your poems. I'm glad you were able to share that with us and our audience. And before you go, Tonya, is there anything you'd like to say, to our audience that for tonight's show? Anything?
I would like to say thank you guys for having me. I know I'm a new author, but I appreciate if you would give me the opportunity. I'm sure you would like my stories. You can hit me up on Facebook, say hi, join my group, Author Tonya Barber's Fan Club. I am a very good person to get to know. Looking forward to seeing and hearing all of you guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's right. Amen. And we appreciate you sharing your life with us. That grateful large family that you was blessed with. I know you look forward to seeing them when you can. And again, thank you for reading the poems. Really enjoyed it, and we enjoy seeing you out there on Facebook. So keep doing your thing out there. All right.
Yeah, Jerry, thank you so much.
You're
thank
welcome.
you. And I wasn't as nervous as I thought it was going to be.
That's right. You did fine. And again, let us know if there's anything we could do for you when you release your next title. So we'd be glad to, get some people out there that can help you out. Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Tonya M. Barber. That's right. Tonya M. Barber, and her book is out there. If you got a chance to read her book, you enjoyed it. She loves to hear from you. And again, that's I Can Love Your Pain. I Can Love You Past Your Pain. All right, I'm jerry-royce-live, and thank you for tuning in to positivepower21.org. Again, you can follow us on Spreaker.com at positivepower21. Help follow us so we can get on XM Radio. That's right. The more people follow us, the better our chances to get on XM Radio. And again, we always enjoy interviewing new authors so they can get the exposure they deserve. Take care, everybody, and take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Royce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.